The Big Dog Postgame Show is brought to you by Viener X Consulting. We make your company work. And by Rick Jacklich, the big dog himself, at the Jacklich Law Group.
From the field here at Rutgers SHI Stadium, this is the Big Dog Postgame Show. I'm Wayne Viener, Jordan in the middle, Mason to my left. It's still up on the scoreboard here. Rutgers 35, Maryland 20, in a game that Maryland had to have a season. The second half, the whole thing just did not go Maryland's way. Mason, I hate to ask, but I have to ask it. What did you see out there tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you want to say that, we want to have a season. I know that's a term. We just let too many things happen to us. We have no resolve. Nothing. We are a lifeless football team. We can't stop the run. We're getting torched in the passing game. At least we got a yard when it was 3rd and 1, but we got nothing.
Look, statistically, the game isn't that different. And they had a few more yards, 485. Maryland has 403. But, as Jordan was saying a moment ago, Antoine Raymond, the 240 yards certainly was a difference maker today.
Yeah, it was. Mason just told me the first 200-yard rusher in the Big Ten season, Big Ten play, that means. And the single-game rushing record for a Rutgers football team in Big Ten play. Not a great feeling when that happens. And going to this game, Mason and I were saying in the podcast, the key was the front seven. It was supposed to be our strength going into this game. Granted, we had some injuries. Daniel Wingate's still playing hurt. Sidney Stewart was out for most of the game. But at some point, you just got to make the plays.
Man, I don't want to hear about injuries. You're talking about a team who's out for the season list is like half the injury report.
In Rutgers, had like 14 guys.
I don't want to hear it. What I want to hear is why we can't find 4 defensive linemen that can play.
Let me go back a second. When you say no resolve, that's exactly what you're talking about. That they ran all over us and we didn't do anything to change it.
You just cannot convince me that the players that we have, Daniel Wingate, Ian Thomas, Cam Rice, Sidney Stewart, Zahir Mathis, Nasir Taylor, that the guys across the line are that much better than them.
Funchess.
I mean, the list goes on and on of talented football players that we have.
Carlton Smith. The list is going on.
Yet we, week in and week out, we seemingly get worse.
That's a good point. There's been some regression. The run game was much better, but it took a couple odd plays from Malik to make that better. Statistically, it was great. In game play, it was okay. The 98 yards passing was troubling. And to hear, and I asked Locke so we could play that here, and we'll talk to Bruce in a moment about the overall play calling. You needed yards down the field, and they're throwing the ball left and right nonstop. At some point, you've got to throw the ball. You gotta do it. It might not work, but if you don't do it, you lose the game. If you do it, maybe you still lose the game, but you got a shot at it. It's a little disheartening that that's where this offense has ended up in week whatever we're in.
Yeah, I don't want to really throw words back in Locke's face, but he talks about like developmental program and all these things, and I don't see us getting better. And these 3 senior wide receivers that we have create no separation. You got to move on. We just got to move on. Play the guys who at least you would think are going to be here next year if this continues. And there has to be another option. Well, you got to give snaps to somebody else. This isn't. I fail to understand the concept of what we are attempting to do in order to improve.
I have not yet seen the improvement. The only improvement, and I will say, is there haven't been as many penalties.
Well, yeah, we cleaned up the penalties. I don't think that... I actually thought that Malik was better today. It's kind of surprising he ended up with 98 yards. I mean, he was running a lot. Their opportunities were there to run. He was throwing on platform. He had the one really bad pass when you kind of needed something to happen there.
Near the end of the first half.
Near the end of the first half, and the one that should have been intercepted there. But in the end, it really felt like, it's a one-score game. The ball's over here. And we have an opportunity for an interception on the plus 30-yard line that could have been a pick 6. Ball goes right to the guy's hands. That is the season.
Yeah,
we're like game-changing plays in every one of these games, other than the Indiana game. We're game-changing plays away from making a difference. But for whatever the curse is on this team, and the fact we end up putting ourselves in most of these games in the position where we need that play to go our way, is the difference between really a good team and what we have going on there.
And you have to add, every text I get adds in year 7.
Yeah.
That here we still are. You've been up close to several programs, especially one big winner in football. You have anything to add in here?
Football's a game of inches, and I think that can get easily lost sometimes when you're talking about this bigger picture stuff and all these plays that you miss. But it's a game where you got to either put more weight in the weight room, stay long in practice. Every team is trying to win as hard as they can. You know, people in the industry joke a lot about how football coaches are psychopaths, and they're willing to do any stupid, crazy thing to get an advantage. But that's what it takes to win. You have to go into every week knowing every team you're playing is throwing every possible resource they have at you, try to win. And I'm not going to make accusations here, but it just feels like that extra inch we just don't have. And it happens enough that you do have to wonder in year 7 what's going on. And I'm not trying to call for anything, not trying to accuse anybody of anything, but I've seen it enough to know it just feels like when you're doing this still in year 7, something's not being done.
And with that, we'll go to break, and on the return from break, we'll hear from Bruce in studio, who's had some time to think about what he's seen today on TV. We'll be back in New Jersey in a moment.
Viener X is the new face of Viener Forgate.
Since 1991, Viener X has made your company work. Enterprise technology management delivers measurable value and real growth for our customers.
From technology planning to project execution, Viener X turns IT into a growth engine, helping you save time, control costs, and drive profits.
And we never forget, it's people first. Technology only matters when it empowers the user.
Viener X, enterprise technology, human first.
Wayne Mason, I feel sorry for you guys going up there in Jordan for the game today. Terps lose 35-20, their 5th straight loss in the Big Ten. I don't know what else to say. They're now, am I not mistaken, they're 1-5 in the Big Ten, 3 games left. They have 1-5, can't get to 500 again. It's very problematic, and they were not beaten by a great team today. Last week, Indiana was a great team as they proved today with their miraculous final touchdown to beat Penn State. But today, there's nothing to say. Maryland just didn't have it, gave up almost 500 yards or thereabouts, and it just, nothing went right. And once again, they could not generate offense in the fourth quarter. And that's been a stumbling block ever since they were 4-0. And hard to believe they were 4-0 and lost 5 straight games. And today they rushed for 300 yards. You know, the passing game wasn't there. And the play calling, the passes were all real short swing passes.
As the game wound down and Maryland needed yards, there were a lot of short passes there. Was that something that Rutgers took away, or was that our play design?
Yeah, so if you watch the tape, they play zone coverage. And
Yeah.
They play zone coverage, it means they drop deep, so you got to check it down. So short passes, make a guy miss, run for the extra yards. That's typically what you like to see. We didn't do a great job of run after the contact or run after the catch in some of these situations. But I haven't watched the tape enough to fully evaluate it, but typically they played a lot more zone coverage than man. And that's where checkdowns are important, and the quarterback did his job there.
Rutgers just knew they were coming. I mean, you know, I guess Loxley will analyze it and figure out what's wrong, but it's not a good day for the University of Maryland to go 4-5, and now their chances of getting to a bowl are running away. I mean, to win at Illinois is going to be very tough. Then Michigan at home, and then at Michigan State to find 2 wins there is going to be tough. I don't know what else to say. Very, very tough day for the University of Maryland. We still love them. We still want them to win. Tough day for basketball yesterday. Not as, first game of the year, not that big of a deal when you play 30-some. And Sasha, what a day for him. Unbeaten. They win the regular season Big Ten championship, and they host the tournament this weekend. All right, that's all I got today, Wayne. Back to you on the field, and I know you'll have a good wrap-up show. It's a tough one today. Safe driving home, Wayne and Mason.
All right, Bruce, back on the field, and everybody is disappointed today. It sort of builds on last night. Didn't go too well on the hardwood, didn't go too well on the turf today. We said it was Judgment Day, and to me, that meant this season was on the line. And we needed it, and maybe it was a few inches away, but we did not get it. And that means that, like Illinois, Michigan State, I really, at this point, not expecting to win 2 of the 3. Mason, you're shaking your head. Anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I mean, this needs to end. It's just not working. I have nothing against the people personally, or really, I really wanted them to win. Clearly,
yes.
As many of you have seen throughout the various seasons of this show. But this is a business. Arguably, I don't know what the actual revenue number is off the top of my head, but it's a pretty damn big business. And the leader of the most important division of this company is failing. And yeah, there's a lot of, leads in the hopper, but we ain't selling anything. So we better, you got to make the change at some point. And from what I've seen from the leadership here, they are interested in winning.
They are.
And close enough or play away or a fourth quarter away is not good enough from at least what I've experienced. And, play your disclaimer if these opinions are my own, but in the end, it's a dollars and cents things. And unless there's 20,000 Michigan fans in a couple of weeks, there's going to be nobody in that stadium. And we already went to the point of selling tickets for $25 where there should be $180. So I don't really know what else you do. People are disinterested.
Yeah. I'm so frustrated. I don't trust. It hasn't been long enough after the game for me. Because I really...
Well, let me put my 2 cents in then, if you're not going to say.
I am not at this point going to say it. I got 3 games left, and actually at this point I feel that what I think probably doesn't matter.
No, what we say on the show doesn't really matter to the decision makers at B. And that's how it should be. You have to make informed decisions at the top, and we are media heads at the end of the day. But when we were talking to Joel D, what was that, 6 weeks ago, Mason, the term that he used when regarding Penn State was untenable. The situation with the fan base and the coach had become untenable, regardless of what the data or whatever you thought should be done. And that's kind of how I feel like we're at here. This season had a bit of a last-ditch effort among the fans to salvage this regime. People showed up for these games, and they haven't delivered the results. And yeah, it's been really frustratingly close, especially on those first 3 games of this losing streak. But they didn't win. And now you've lost to Indiana by 45, which, maybe forgivable, but then you lost to Rutgers, on your rival, your comparable program by 15 here. And they saved their season and we didn't. And, if you have a different opinion, that's fine, but I think that's where I stand at least. This situation is untenable unless we pull some miracle in the last 3 games.
And I will be the one left hoping for the miracle. I'll wrap us up for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you will be back as we will after Illinois, Michigan, and then at Michigan State. But for tonight, it feels like the season is over. Rutgers 35, Terps 20. We will see you on the basketball court.